Mute button, and let's hear it for episode 2 of the RUS GUTIN Experience, ladies and gentlemen. Now, usually we will have an awesome cocktail class here at the top of the show, but tonight we had a little bit of technical issues, so it looks like RUS GUTIN's doing the cocktail class. So if you're joining us tonight, why don't you go ahead and make the cocktail that I recommend, which is where you take your huge Eagles goblet, something that Lil Wayne would put the scissor in. And what I do is I like to fill it up to here with just straight tequila, okay? And it could be something cheap like Sauza or something really fancy like Casamigos if you're fucking rolling with that cheddar. And then I add ice and maybe a squeeze of lemon, and there you go. It's a fucking RUS GUTIN cocktail. Sometimes I like to put the ice in and then the tequila and then no lemon. I like to be like Ernest Hemingway and shit and really feel the bite. So there's your RUS GUTIN cocktail. Give it up for the cocktail class, ladies and gentlemen. This fall. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of Philly Comedy Club at Infusion Lounge Philly presents the RUS GUTIN Experience, a Zoom room talk show comedy experience. Thank you. That we're doing for you online when we can't join you live. So what we're going to be doing every week, just so you know, is I'm going to be laying down the rules of the road. Then I'm going to tell you my jokes from this week in quarantine while I'm with my family. Every week, we're going to have my comedy album of the week. We're going to play a clip from it. You're going to enjoy it. And then we're going to interview that awesome comic. And then we have some rotating segments in our third segment. This week, it's Rustle Around the Interwebs, where I show you my favorite hysterical comedian, musician, or artist created content from around the interwebs that maybe you didn't catch the first time around. And then next week, we're going to be doing one of my favorite segments where I check in with comics who have been quarantined with their parents, called Say Hi to Your Mom for Me. And I'll tell you who our next week's guest will be for that in a little bit at the end of the show. And we're going to end every week where we open up the gallery and we open it up for questions with an ARA or APA, Ask Russ Anything, Ask Papa Anything. So anything goes, dealer's choice. You're going to put me on my toes, and I'm going to answer you. Now, give it up for the RUS GUTIN Experience, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for a Zoom room comedy show, there's a few rules of the road as your host I'm supposed to lay down. So, if you've got that mute button, unmute that button. We want to hear your laughs and your applause and your gasps at all of our inappropriate jokes. Also, if you're in your houses, I'm sure that's very lovely, but sit up straight and let us see your lovely faces. And remember, no children, no animals, and no interrupting the show. If you did in the old world, I would have our large African-American or Dominican security guard remove you from the room physically. But if you interrupt the show tonight, our great producer behind the scenes, Candy, will just hit a little button and click you out of the room. So not every change from real comedy to Zoom comedy is bad, okay? And the last thing, remember, unmute the button when you're listening to your friends who are performing for you tonight. But if you're going to go take a really long piss or a nasty poop in your wonderful bathroom, please put on that hold screen and hit that mute button. You have a very lovely bathroom with those little seashell soap things that are so fucking adorable. I've never used them. It's so cute. Who would even want to use one? I'm sure you have a very lovely bathroom, but don't take us there with you. But otherwise, unmute that button and don't interrupt the show. No children, no animals, and don't take me with you to piss. Give it up for the rules of the road, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, it's my job to open up the show tonight with the Come to Papa segment, where I tell you about my week in quarantine. What do you guys say? Give it up for me, ladies and gentlemen. So, first of all, I am proud to announce that today was me and my son's last day of third grade homeschool. We graduated the third grade. I graduated the third grade for the second time. Thank you. And I am also happy to report that I got an excellent grade on my Charlotte's Web report. Thank you. I know it's supposed to be we, but admittedly, I carried the team. I did most of the heavy lifting. I am taking the victory. I did it. Thank you. And I want you to know I'm so proud of myself because I definitely did better in the third grade this time than I did the first time. Okay. So also, well, I'm still not very good at math, and it was still a lot of tears. But now I hear a little echo in the background. I'll try to fix that in a bit. So
that's sorry, Iris, if you could just turn down the volume on your computer.
Iris, my mother, turn down the volume. So
on the TV or the computer?
The other reason that I'm not nervous, oh, I knew it was my mother's fault. All of this is my mother's fault. No, and you.
Stop blaming me.
So the other reason that I'm not nervous about having homeschool every day is because during the mornings, my son Rocco would have the Zoom room classroom meetings. And during those meetings, they ask him to share, they open up the floor to share if you've done anything fun in quarantine. And my son and I have been in quarantine a long time now, and I love movies and video games. So admittedly, as quarantine has dragged on, I've definitely gone outside the boundaries of showing him video games and movies that would be considered appropriate for an 8-year-old, okay, by society, okay? But the problem is that Rocco has chosen to share this information time. So they're like, Rocco, did you do anything fun over the weekend? He's like, well, actually, me and my dada defeated Streets of Rage 4 on the PS4 together, and then I watched him kill 100 demons on God of War, and then we watched all of the Jurassic Parks, both Pacific Rims, and a movie called Spaceballs. Do you guys know my favorite line from the movie Spaceballs? And I run into the room like, no, Rocco, shut up. Stop sharing right now. I told you, sharing is very bad. I'm deconstructing all the good parenting that I've done. I'm telling him sharing is bad, you know what I mean? And he kept doing this after I told him to not do this, you know, so finally after the third time, I turned to my wife and I said, Dara, gather my things and get my affairs in order, because I'm pretty sure once Child Services reopens, I am going directly to jail. Okay, hold typhus, you motherfuckers. Okay, so I am glad for homeschool to be over, and this Monday, as part of movie time, we are going to watch Commando, Alien, Aliens, and Predator. I don't give a fuck anymore. Okay, so now I hope all of you have enough groceries where you are in quarantine. Now I found out that I definitely have enough, because like all the rest of you, I have tried to avoid the carbs and avoid gaining too much weight during the quarantine. I want to be one of the comics that doesn't come back like a fat fuck wheezing on the stage when he's humping the stool, as comics are wont to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy, okay? But it turns out I have not been doing as good a job as I thought, because the other night I sat down for family movie time, and my 4-year-old daughter, Sophia, and 4-year-olds, by the way, have no filter, okay, walks over to me and she goes, Daddy, your belly is so big. And I turned to my wife and I said, Dara, the 4-year-old is fat shaming me. He's bullying me. I tattletaled. I don't give a shit. I fucking tattletaled right away. This is love stitches, okay, around here. I tattled right away. And then right on cue, like I'm a pregnant lady, she puts her hand on my belly and she goes, what's in there, Dad? And I couldn't believe it. I said, you fucking bully. She didn't even say anything, you know, reassuring or nice like you're supposed to say. She didn't say, oh, but you're glowing. Nothing. And listen, sure, I have done a bunch of emotional eating while watching Star Trek The Next Generation late at night. I've put on a few pounds. My body's going through a few changes. You don't have to be mean about it, so you fat shaming bully. But I will tell you this, I should have known that she was right and that I was starting to look like Cardi B from the back, everybody. The other day, I was walking down the hallway in our area upstairs, and all of a sudden I thought one of the kids was running up behind me and I got startled, and it turned out it was just my ass. You know what I mean? I turned around in the living room the other day. I knocked over every picture of every great-grandparent, even the ones that served in the Great War. Fuck, okay? So I know you guys have heard of the fad, intermittent fasting. I'm going right to fasting fast. I'm doing the full Yom Kippur for the next 3 weeks, okay? Because I haven't performed live yet, and the boom camera adds 23 fucking pounds. I don't know if you heard show business, okay? So give it up for me for surviving my fat bullying situation. I'm a survivor. Hashtag me Jew. Now, I will tell you this. The last bit I want to tell you tonight is, ladies and gentlemen, when you are out in public, when you go to the grocery store, wear your fucking mask, okay? Wear the mask. Don't half mask it. Don't be a mask hole, okay? Just wear the fucking mask. When I go to the grocery store, ask my family, I wear a raincoat, double mask, I got a hat with a plastic like I'm Dustin Hoffman in Outbreak. You understand? Okay? All right? And when I go out there, I practice ASD. I've gone over this. Aggressive social distancing. Okay? I'm laying down the law. Now, listen though. I've heard a lot of talk about defunding the police and reallocating funds to community services. So if we are defunding things and reallocating those funds, I would like to suggest to Bordentown Township, where I live, to reallocate those funds to me, Russ Gutin, and I will open the ASTD, the Aggressive Social Distancing Department, and I'm going to be the goddamn mass police in this fucking town, okay? There's a new mass sheriff in town, and I'm going to get the smallest Mini Cooper and the biggest siren. I'm going to put it on top. And I'm going to action peel in to every parking lot, every ShopRite, Acme, Trader Joe's, Aldi. I'm going to action somersault in like I'm Vin fucking Diesel. And I'm just going to be like, I'm going to need some backup. We got a below the nose mile thing. I'm going to need some backup. I got a permit patty complaining about the civil rights. Breathing all over the goddamn produce in aisle 7. Bring the taser, set it a little more. It's gonna get ugly. Okay, I'll turn it to Stallone. I am the law. I am the mass law. Okay, and this is my only chance, by the way, everybody, to become the action movie star that I have always wanted to become. This is what the movie trailer is gonna be, okay? In a world where masks are required, but some forgo them, one man is about to kick some mask. Mass police, attack of the Karens, because this summer, it's no mask, no mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, and wear your fucking mask. My kids sewed these in a shop. $750,000 I charge for these Eagles masks. It's a 2 mask minimum. You have to have a minimum order of 2. So just Venmo my wife the $1.4 million. Oh yeah, Joey's got his mask. Now, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for me one more time. Okay, I fucking told you those jokes. Now, here comes episode 2, where I attempt to share a screen with you for my comedy album of the week, where I play a clip of one of my favorite sections of one of my favorite comedy albums that is out right now from my favorite comics that I've been lucky enough to work with. And especially over the last year and a half, I have been lucky to work with this dude, and he is one of my favorite people and comics to work with. So right now, I am queuing up the share screen. And please welcome and enjoy a clip from his album Kidnapping Season, my buddy David James. And then he's going to join us for a live interview. Ladies and gentlemen, from Kidnapping Season, here's David James.
I've been finger banged twice in my life. That's how we're starting, sir. Yeah, here's the situation. Here's the thing. Ever been dating someone and then you're not quite sure what's going on intimately, what they're into, right? And then they do something that you're not quite prepared for. Yeah, I had that happen to me. I was making out with this girl and then she stuck her finger in my mouth. Has that ever happened to anybody in here? Yeah. I know a lot of you like, David, all things that get surprisingly stuck in your mouth, the finger's not that bad. It's absolutely terrifying. Right? It's gonna be like all cool, calm, collected, right? But I'm having like a panic attack on the inside, right? Because on the outside I'm like, I'm all cool and stuff. Right? On the inside I'm like, oh my god, did she go to the bathroom today? Was it number one or number she went to the mall? Oh my god. Did she go to the side of the escalators down to the people touch the side of the escalators? Oh my god, I didn't sign up for Obamacare. Oh my god. Oh my god. Give me the Asian flu. Asian people like the ball. Maybe they got it. I don't know. Asian flu in my mouth. There's AIDS, cancer, Ebola, Asian flu in my mouth. Now that's me on the inside, right? But on the outside, I'm trying to look tough because I don't want to look like a sissy in front of this girl, right? So I just laid there with a finger in my mouth like it's a thermometer. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So I'm just laying there like an asshole, just going, And I didn't know this was a sexy thing for her, you know what I mean? So then she got mad at me because I was ruining the romance of this situation. Right? She's like, why don't you suck it? Be sexy, suck it. I'm like, no, I don't want to. No. And then she got mad at me and she shoved it in further this time, you know? Yeah, now I'm an assault victim, you know what I'm saying? All right, so she had these long ass Dikembe Mutombo alien fingers, you know? Yeah. So I'm like 8 inches deep going, stop it! I started to... I woke again, I forgot where I was. I tried to tap out like it's a UFC fight. You know, over the bed, the tag team partner underneath the bed that can tag me out. Like, come on, brother, tag me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, horrible situation.
Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, joining us all the way live, please welcome Mr. David James. Oh, I'm getting back to the Zoom room. Hold on, I'm getting back with you. Here we go. David, how are you? Oh, stop share. I did it. David, give it up for David James. You gotta stop the share. I'm doing the best I can, Bob. David, thank you so much for joining us tonight and ruling over the city of Philadelphia like Godzilla. Amazing. The protests are working. So, David, first of all, I love the title, Kidnapping Season. I love this album. I love your material. So the
Thank you.
thing I always like to ask comics, because I've made a bunch of comedy albums, I always want to ask you, what was the oldest and what is the newest bit on the album?
So a lot of my new stuff I just cut out because I feel like I could do better. So there was probably like 25 minutes I cut out of the album. The oldest joke is probably a Beyonce joke that originally was Shakira, but she's not as relevant now. So I switched it to Beyonce.
That joke? How old was that joke?
That joke first started being funny in like probably 2008 or something like that.
Yeah, I love that. I wish people understood like how long it takes to really get a joke right, or how sometimes a joke comes back into your life. Like it's all of a sudden funny again. All you got to do is like change 2 words. So I know it only has the Beyonce bit. I've never heard it with Shakira, but I know what bit you're talking about. God damn it. Is it an awesome bit?
Yeah, it changed up because my first attempt at it was trying to say what I would do for Shakira. and my first attempt was saying that I would punch my grandmother in the stomach, which which was a little too real and vivid for people. So then I changed it to I would fight a baby in a steel cage on the top of a mountain.
Yeah,
and I changed it to that.
Yeah, and that's more epic. I like that. That's a big production. That sounds very Peter Jackson. I like that. So I was going to ask you, when someone buys your album, Kidnapping Season, which is available on Amazon Music, iTunes, Bandcamp. See, the Jew knows how to plug things. See, David? When someone buys your album, what is your favorite bit on the album? What do you hope somebody digs the most?
My favorite bit was probably this bit called Extra, where I'm explaining that my hatred, like, you know, some people are racist, other sexist, but my hatred is people that are extra.
Yeah. Like me.
Yeah.
Stupid allergies. I'm extra.
So my point of the bit was saying, like, I don't care who's extra, as long as they're extra, I hate them. So it doesn't matter to me what kind of extra they are.
Either way. Yeah, regardless. I grew up in Cherry Hill, where everyone is extra. The mothers, the daughters. Oh my goodness. So, David, I'm so lucky to get this is great. I feel like this interview is going well. This is the first interview I've ever done that's gone this well. This is great. So, so I was gonna say, you're one of those guys, David, that I've gotten to know over the last year and a half, working with you at Philly Comedy Club and Atlantic City Comedy Club, our sister club. But when I'm around all the Philly comics, they all just love and respect you. And you really are somebody that opens for all the national headliners when they come here. You've headlined all the major clubs. And even on social media, you really go back and forth with all the other comics in a way that I just absolutely love. And I'm not secure enough to do, because I could dish it out, but I can't take it. Whereas you can really take it. Like I wouldn't get over it. So I guess I wanted to ask you, just for our viewers at home, which may be some of my blood relatives and direct family, but that's okay. Baby steps to the top. When you're working around Philadelphia, who are some of your favorite comics to watch work?
I like a friend of mine, Daryl Charles. He's very funny. I like Daryl Charles. Chip Chantry is like one of the best joke writers. Like, he is so funny on Twitter.
He's been around forever too.
And he just comes up with these jokes and things. I'm just like, how the hell did he come up with that? He's like one of those, like a brilliant late night TV writer.
Yeah, and he's always first. He's one of those people that's like first to it. That, you know, he's anything you're doing is like a carbon copy after that. Those comics that get it in the first 3 minutes. Go on.
Yeah,
sorry.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are some other people I like. Mary Rosinski, she's very funny.
Yeah,
like she opens for a lot of big guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a show where the both of you were opening. I don't know if it was. I'm trying to remember who the headliner was, but both of you were on the show. So you guys are just great. Thank you, David. I love that. So okay, now it's time for silly questions. You ready, motherfucker? Okay. So the first silly question I want to ask you, and I wish I was good enough to also share still pictures. But when quarantine first started, before things got really nuts and everybody was just worried about groceries, my favorite thing that I looked forward to every day was this photo series you did on Instagram, where it would be you in a parking lot with the trunk of your car filled with groceries, and you'd have the mask on, and you'd be posing like a 90s rap single album cover, like a 45, and you'd be like, yeah, don't come at me, you need these groceries, and yeah, don't come at me with all that broke talk. And then like the other one you had all the Snapples and the other drinks, and you're like, tell your mom when she comes over tonight, I got those drinks. And I just told it to my wife while she's trying to work. I kept quoting it over and over again. It was my favorite thing. Don't come at me with all that broke talk. I say it all the time now. So my question to you is, like, how did that photo series sort of start? And also, side question, who the fuck was taking those pictures, social distancing? Was it somebody else, or were you like putting it on a car hood across from you on a timer?
Now, I have very large hands that my friends make fun of me for. I have one friend that calls my hands tennis rackets instead of actually a human body part. So those are all selfies, actually.
That's unbelievable. Wow, you really are. Wow. David, I was feeling pretty good about myself. I only got laid once during the quarantine, but I felt pretty good. Until you just gave that very accurate description of your hands. I felt like I was working with a medium SeaWorld situation. But wow, whoa! I loved you in Jurassic World. Okay,
well, Rush, you're not getting laid. You're getting bullied by a 4-year-old, and you have a Puerto Rican ass. So it's not really going well for you.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. I am a Puerto Rican looking Jew. I've always been told that. And and speaking of which, here's a preview next week, David. A lot of talk show hosts right now, especially the white ones, are apologizing for the blackface sketches that they did. But when I was in high school, I did West Side Story, but I was one of the Puerto Ricans. And these Jewish mothers doing the makeup backstage, they put us all in brown face. So I'm just going to release the pictures now. I got to get ahead of this. And also, I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't like, hey, yeah, cake on that fucking tenor. Like I didn't say that. I was just a goddamn 16 years old. So, I just want to get it out of the way now so our relationship isn't affected. I'm so woke. I'm an insomniac.
I don't agree with it, man. You can't snitch on yourself. Yeah, you deny until they catch you.
You're right. Until Twitter asks you, just keep grooming those young girls.
And even then you flip it. It's like, oh, what, all Jewish kids with brown face look alike? That wasn't me. That was another Jewish kid.
That was another guy. Yeah, total other guy. Yeah, he's probably Hasidic. So, okay, last silly fun question. David, the reason I always look forward to working with you, besides getting to listen to your wordsmith awesome material, is I know in the green room, we're always going to talk about two things, which is video games, i.e. the PlayStation. We are PlayStation guys. And Star Wars, which we love to talk about. As a matter of fact, when you were running from one show to our show once, you called me the Mandalorian in your text. And I turned to everybody and I was like, this guy gets it. Just what to say to me, you sweet talking. Ooh, wow. So my question to you is, over the last week, we have seen the big reveal of the PlayStation 5 and Star Wars Rogue Squadron. So, a la the old Klondike bar commercials, what would you do for a Klondike bar? How low, as a human being, both in dignity and integrity, are you willing to stoop to ensure you have a PS5 and Star Wars Rogue Squadron on launch day this Christmas? Be specific.
I would find the relative that I hate the most. I would put them in whiteface. I would put a police uniform on them. And then I would put 2 signs duct tape on the front and the back that says, "All Lives Matter."
Oh!
And I would send them to the release of the PlayStation 5. I would also numb their mouths so they couldn't talk, so they just looked like they were angry. And the mob would chase him, and I'd be like, "Black Lives Matter!" And then they would
you got to cause a distraction.
And then I would go to the front of the line to get the PlayStation
I love it.
5.
Listen, I've got your back. I've got a lot of stage makeup in my storage area. You're going to be delighted at the things we could do. I'm going to be like Stan Winston up in this motherfucker. So that is great. Ladies and gentlemen, always coming with the heat. Please welcome, give it up for my friend David James, who's going to join us, he said, for the rest of the show, Graham Norton style. David, I love your album, Kidnapping Season, and you can pick it up now on iTunes, Amazon Music, and Bandcamp and other platforms. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, I'm going to take another sip. I'm going to get ready to share another screen with you because, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited that we are here tonight to share this. One of my oldest friends and greatest, most respected singers and dancers that I've ever gotten the privilege to be around, who has been featured on The Voice and was just in the national tour of a Bronx Tale musical, has an awesome, hysterical new music video out called I'm Over Here Now. And if you haven't seen it, you are in for a treat. So sit back, wiggle your butt, and enjoy. And afterwards, he's going to be joining us for a live interview. I'm Over Here Now by Joe Trombino.
I'm over here now. Let me go call my friends. I'm over here now. All right, listen. I throw a curveball and you just strike out. Start to cry. Your mom is asking us to go to see Mets games. It was the best. I'm over here now was the song I suggested. I'm over here now. But I'm finally successful. I got a lot. I got a bunch of chicken breasts, dude. You want me to cook them, fry them, glaze them, I'll put it on your plate. You'll fucking feel amazing. I'm over here. Who knows? Someday I'll play frisbee and throw the fucking ball with both my hands because I'm ambidooter. I'm over here now. Yeah, I went to the circus. It was interesting and all. But you know, the people walking on balls made me think of my last relationship. I'm over here now. I'm over here now. I walk the tightrope every day of my life, Gina. I'm breaking my hump. About basketball, you gotta dribble. You gotta handle the ball, you gotta shoot the ball. I'm over here now. I'm over here. This headband cost me $5.99. I'm over brush your teeth, or don't brush your teeth. You struck out because you're a bum. You're bum. I'm over here. I eat cheap. You know, lettuce, carrots. I'm over here. I need to commit. That's what it takes. What do you want from me? I'm over here now. How much you think this jacket costs? Wrong.
Wrong.
I'm over here now. Let me tell you, every day, every single day my back hurts. I'm over here. It's handball. Hit the fucking ball. I'm over here. It's gonna last me another 5 months.
Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna hit stop share. Please welcome one of my oldest friends from NBC's The Voice, from the national tour of A Bronx Tale the musical, and from my musical, he played Federico Suave in Bella. Please welcome my buddy, Mr. Joey Trombino.
A pleasure to be here with you, Russell.
Oh, I love you, man. Federico Suave.
Love you,
G acapella unit. Oh,
yeah.
I am so glad and happy that you are joining us. You're originally born and bred living in Queens. I believe you are joining us from North Kakalaki.
That's correct.
That's awesome because you got out while the getting was good. So, Joey, first of all, I love you. You know that. Second of all, we love this song Around the House. I don't know if you can tell from Tara's audio too. We know all the words. We do it all day.
Rocco singing the lyrics to that song on that video made entire quarantine.
Right, we sent you a video. Like, he's quoting it, and I was like, oh my God, do not share video during his Zoom room meeting. But at the same time, I thought everybody would have a laugh. Anyway, so as a matter of fact, I want to say my two favorite parts are I walk a tightrope every day of my life, Gina. I'm breaking my hump.
Yeah.
Also, ask me how much I paid for this jacket. Wrong. That is the most East Coast thing that literally every relative and friend I have ever had always wants you to know that they didn't pay full price or something. I didn't even ask. I don't even care.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so brilliant. So what I was going to say is what I want you to tell our audience at home tonight is, please tell me what sort of inspired and set this track into motion and made it come to life. And also, if you could tell us how you pulled off all those amazing effects and the editing.
Well, I always wanted to make an anthem song for this character, Giuseppe Calamari, right? So that's what I used to be called Giuseppe Calamari as a kid because I was this little squirmy little Italian guy. Yeah. And essentially, Giuseppe Calamari is a culmination of all my uncles that I grew up with, right? Oh. And initially, I wanted to write a song that was more like a Guido anthem that would have been like a summer banger, like I'm over here now, sort of like I'm doing better now than I was before. So that's what I thought we were gonna do. And when I went into the studio with my buddy Michael McQuilkin, who edited the video and kind of directed it as well, he just gave me the mic and was like, I'm going to give you a beat, and I want you to get into character and just improv, freestyle, whatever comes out.
Wow.
And so we then cut that up and kept the most ridiculous things that I said.
Well, that you did a good job, because everything is more ridiculous. Huh? You know, like even like everything, and then the title. I mean,
yo, the real funny, I actually filmed that when my girl was in the kitchen on a conference call for work. I had to shoot that entire thing in silent. I couldn't even.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's perfect, because you're such an accomplished and amazing dancer too. So much so that a Gangstapella was part of your whole, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's like Charlie Chaplin shit. Wow, Joe, that's amazing. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. That's such a cool story. I fucking love that. Okay, so now, Joe, on this song, you're rapping and apparently freestyling and saying ridiculous stuff, which I love. But, and somebody that comes from the world of musical theater like me and putting on live concerts like I did back in the day, you, in my humble Jew opinion, are one of the greatest singers and dancers that I really have ever come across. And
you and my mom have that in common.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm like your mom. I'm just so proud of you, baby boy. And I know I was right, because in the years since Gangstapella, you've been featured on NBC's The Voice, and you were just part of A Bronx Tale, the musical, and actually my beloved Uncle Barry, who owns Cuba Libre, where our live show is usually above, is actually great friends with Chaz Palminteri, which is really cool. Yes. So, but what I was going to ask you is, and also, I also wanted to mention, some of those concerts I used to produce at the Cutting Room and Arlene's Grocery always featured your funk band, Urban Sun, which had like electric guitars and a horn section and hand percussion and drum sets. It was just, it was an explosion of talent. It was unbelievable. So I always wanted to ask you, of all of these different forms of performing that you've gotten to do, what's your favorite? Where do you feel the most at home? I know I do live on stage, doing stand-up in front of an audience. I feel the most in control. So what's your favorite? Like, where do you feel the most at home?
Well, when I was in my when I was in the band days, I definitely felt like the most powerful when I had a big band behind me, and I would just share how I felt about life and my philosophies and my emotions. Yeah. And then somewhere in my 30s, I didn't want to share that anymore. I didn't think it was like, I don't think, like, I started to wonder, why would anyone really care about how I'm feeling about my ex-girlfriend at this point? Like, get over it, bro. You know? So now I honestly, like, when I watch I'm Over Here Now, man, I can watch that and say, yeah, that is a genuine expression of that character, and I feel really good about that. So I would say right now, with what's going on in the world, like, I feel like comedy is probably, and well, I would say Giuseppe Calamari comedy is kind of my outlet right now that I'm trying to put more energy into.
Well, I absolutely love it, and obviously I'm going to lead into the third thing that I wanted to talk to you about. And again, I'm so glad that you're with us.
Oh man, I gotta run. I'm so sorry, Russ. Sorry.
Oh, you son of a bitch. No, I told you. I fucking set these in advance. God damn it. This is structured chaos. So now, Joey, I don't know if you know this at this point, but like I was saying in the green room before the show, your picture is over there from Gangstapella. The poster is over there. We've done all these concerts together. And you and I, turns out, have known each other just shy of 20 years at this point. Like, because I knew you before I started doing Gangstapella, like right into that time. And what I was going to say is, though, what's funny is, I have a little funny story for the audience. The first time I met you, though, I actually snuck on to the set of a music video for the movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
That's right.
Because I love Kevin Smith, and I was trying to get him a copy of the movie that I had helped produce at the time called The Man with the Golden Bong. And and so you and the friend that helped me sneak on were playing NSYNC lookalikes. And in the video, Jay and Silent Bob beat everybody up. The song was called Kick Some Ass, and they beat you guys up. But you and I, on set, we just became very friendly, and you guys were singing actual NSYNC songs, and I heard your voice, and you know, and I exchanged information. I was like, you know, you should play, you should open for my friend Jim and Otis, the band that I was managing at the time. And then that was it. But then a few weeks later, I was working on Gangstapella, the idea for Gangstapella, which, if you don't know, is the world's first gangster rap a cappella group of all white people and one Asian midget samurai beatbox who formed the Fellowship of the Flame. Okay, and it was a live musical. And I was walking through Washington Square Park, and I heard the same angelic voice with just a guitar and a bongo drum. And there you were. And I was like, it's me. And you're like, it's you. And I begged you to be in this Gangstapella thing. And you're like, I'm not really a musical theater actor. And I was like, well, you fucking are now, you know. And
you just reminded me of something, though. That exact setting, we were also approached by the show Blind Date. Do you remember that show?
Yes, yeah.
All right. And so they filmed us because they said, all right, so this dude who the girl is meeting is kind of a musician. Can he just jam with you? And then the girl's going to come into the frame, and then that's how they're going to meet for the first time. And we were like, yeah, totally cool. And we're thinking, oh, we're getting like showcased, you know, dude, when they aired the episode, when the girl came in, her first thought bubble was, oh my God, I hope it's not the guy with the hair. And that was me.
Yeah, because you and I at the time both had giant afros.
I got totally played.
Giant. And I wanted you to be like sort of the yin to my yang, and also because you're a better singer than me. I mean, I'm pretty good, but you're the best.
We come from a similar place with the voices, for sure.
And you can sing anything. Like, I can imitate you. I can imitate our friend Craig Schoenbaum. Like, I'm a very good mimic, and I have some discipline. But you guys were born with like something, you know, X-Men like or something. So and I begged you to be in the show, and I knew if you were the voice above all these other voices I had gathered, that would really be the thing. And back then there wasn't social media, so it was all word of mouth. And I've always said to people that I thought you, as good as the show was, as funny as the show was, I thought it was the power of your voice that really made people talk about it afterwards and spread the word. Okay, so my question to you is, and especially seeing the Giuseppe Calamari thing, which is so Gangstapella too, you already sort of gave it to me. You gave me a great memory of that Washington Square Park thing. But I had a question. Do you have any favorite memories of the Gangstapella years and when we were surrounded by all those bands and musicians and artists?
Oh, absolutely. In thinking about that era, it was tough to remember details, to be honest.
Yeah, whoopsie. Whoopsie daisy.
Look, man, we did not, as much as we all loved performing, we were not professionals, man.
No, we like being around each other. It wasn't Girl Scout-apella. It was Gangstapella.
Yeah, it was a very punk rock musical theater. But I think that's why people really liked it, you know, because it was genuinely wild. It wasn't just us acting like we're crazy. Like,
right. We gave the audience King Cobra. Remember, we gave them all malt liquor as they walked in.
I remember specifically being with the whole crew at your mom's house, your parents' house, on the porch, right? We were doing some kind of show, and
we needed rehearsal space.
Yeah, and somebody in a back in some window in another house was doing some scandalous stuff, and so all of us, yo, what's going on over there? Right. And so we're all kicking it on the porch, watching this unfold. And I remember other things were being passed around, and I remember I looked at one of the dudes, the pretty boy, I forget his name. And
Russell, male model Russell.
And I looked at him and I was like, yo, we not only act Gangstapella, we live it, bro.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It was just, at some point you didn't know where, because I wrote the character to be you, and I wrote the base of the group was Elemental Pleasure, which was like the big guy, but that was Brian DePietro. So I really wrote the character as Brian DePetris when he was upset. And everybody was kind of their own thing. And I remember we all had to sleep at my mom's house too, because I couldn't afford a hotel or a motel for all of us. So at one point we had a character named Left Eye Lenny, who was Eric Whiteley, and we had Elemental Pleasure. We're all like sort of falling asleep, and all of a sudden in the silence you hear, Elemental, please get off of me, Left Eye. And I remember it being our rallying call, and then in the years that ensued, it almost became a cartoon. You were the first person that the animator drew besides me, because we were both going to have the afros that sort of moved. So that was going to be the most complicated digital part at the time, because this was when Adult Swim was really still starting. So everything always with Gangstapella for me sort of started with you. And also in the music department, whenever you were singing, I was just like, Russell, don't fuck this up for Joe. He sounds amazing, and it doesn't matter.
You've always been good to me, Russ. You've always been good to me, bro. Always.
No, I love you, and I love seeing you in Atlantic City. When maybe I took a little disco nap, but we got it together.
You did.
And that burger was amazing. I miss going out to eat.
Right.
And, I can't tell you how much I love I'm Over Here Now and Giuseppe Calamari. Hopefully, Double Time and Giuseppe.
I was just gonna say that. Yup.
Cross over. Run the jewels. We'll run the Jews. We'll run the Jews.
Wow.
And, and hopefully one day maybe we'll even ride as Gangstapella again. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my beloved friend, Mr. Joe Trombino.
You guys are awesome, David. You're awesome, man.
Love you,
Thank
kiddo.
You too, man. I love the video.
Oh, no, that's big. I'm so glad you liked it, because I realized that Gangstapella and I'm Over Here Now could be considered appropriation. All right, so what I was going to say is it's time for our last segment of the show, which I think is going to become a favorite segment of the show, where I throw caution to the wind and almost break it by opening up the gallery to do an ARA or an APA, Ask Russ Anything, Ask Papa Anything, graphics. Now, in ensuing weeks, we're going to do themes where I have you do sports or movies or any of my interests. But the first few weeks I said, fuck it, it's dealer's choice. So now, and I this is risky. My mother-in-law's here, my parents are here, and my wife are here. But I'm going to take 2 questions from the gallery for Ask Russ Anything. Go ahead, lay them on me. It could be anything, you motherfuckers. I'll ask myself a question if it goes too far.
Can you?
Your mom doesn't want to talk to you so bad that she's muted herself.
Can you cook anything?
Say again?
Do you cook?
I have to say that when it comes to cooking, Russell has done. I hear an echo, Mom. Russell has done his very best. But unfortunately, I don't require the patience for it. Somehow, if you ask me to play a PlayStation 4 game and it's an open world game, I will not stop until I have found every trinket, trophy, secret world, under a cave, defeated the troll's grandmother. I'll play the extended DLCs. Every stone must be left unturned. But if you ask me to cook pasta, that shit will come out half baked and breaking your fucking teeth and spirit every time. I have even tried to microwave gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free chicken fingers for myself and failed so miserably that the Aldi banned me from even shopping there. They said, no allergy food for you, you fucking idiot. So, unfortunately, no, I am not a good cook. So, thank God for my lovely wife, Dara. But otherwise, I would be very skinny. So, you know, I don't know. It's show business. You're supposed to sacrifice your health for your looks. All right, last question.
Russell, when is your son Rocco going to be on the show?
Oh my God, already trying to get in on my shot. You know, now I know how Master P felt with Lil Romeo, who then had to be Romeo. You know, everybody's always got to have a kid. Everything's always got to be
Oh,
19
no.
and counting. God damn it, Rocco, what time is it? Now listen, I want you to go fire up my copy of The Revenant. We're going to go watch what happens when a bear encounters Leo in the woods. You want to learn something tonight? No. Rocco, I was thinking after next week, we should do Ask an 8-Year-Old, where I'm just going to ask you about world issues and see what you have to say. Let's see where you're going to reallocate some of those funds. I would assume it's going to be give every home a Marvel Legends Venom figure. I feel like your priorities are going to be different than the masses. But Rocco, listen, I think we should watch the NC-17 cut of RoboCop 1 as a family. Verhoeven is one of the great directors nobody ever talks about. Holy shit, with a guest appearance from my 8-year-old son, making it as I'm definitely going to jail. Call Typhus. Give it up for Ask Russ Anything, and Joey Trombino, and David James, and for yourselves for episode 2 of the Russ Gutin Experience, presented to you by Philly Comedy Club.